What if you found out everything you've ever done, everything you fought for was a lie, and you were actually contributing to and part of the cause of the destruction of everything you vowed to protect? How would you face this reality? Would you be able to make any decisions in this state of mind? Would you be able to sacrifice anything and everything? Today, we'll be analyzing the Nier series and certain parts of the Drakengard series to uncover the true events of the game, connect the plots of the series, and determine the role you play in the story itself. The Nier series takes place after the events of the first Drakengard game, where after defeating the giant, also known as the Queen Beast, which essentially is this giant, creepy, white mannequin monster, her corpse devolves into meso, which are otherworldly particles that cause the white chlorination syndrome, which, to keep time short and not say that name over and over again, we're going to call it WCS. This disease is caused by the meso particles, and it causes humans to become infected and turns them into statues of salt. To counteract this pandemic from a different dimension, humanity constructed Project Gestalt, in which the souls of humans who were left were separated from their bodies as a way to survive the incurable WCS and prevent extinction of all of mankind. This leads us to the opening of Nier Replicant, where we find ourselves in the middle of a snowstorm playing as a young white-haired boy and his younger sister. You then go into a fight scene where you up against these shadow-like monster figures we found out later to be called Shades, and after being defeated by the Shades, we go into a time skip to a more primitive setting, where everything looks like your typical isekai anime, with no advanced technology, wildlife running everywhere, grassy plains, and people dressed as knights in armor. It seems that we're still playing as the same boy from the beginning of the game, who's still protecting his ill sister and trying to find a cure for her. In this time period, the Shades are still present and attack whatever is left of humanity, so as a warrior, you help fight them off while on your mission to find any information on a cure for Yona, your younger sister. Eventually, she is kidnapped by what is basically the boss of Shades, who is known as the Shadow Lord, and your new objective is to hunt down the Shadow Lord and get your beloved sister back, while also satisfying your hatred by slaughtering a numerous amount of Shades. After finally reaching Yona, you notice that she is acting strange and addressing the Shadow Lord as her brother. You then begin the final duel and end up defeating the Shadow Lord, and all is saved, right? Turns out, you've just killed humanity's last hope of survival. You were the bad guy in the whole series, and your quest actually leads to the suffering of upcoming characters and stories, including the sequel, Nier Automata. As a young lad, with intentions of saving humans from monsters and rescuing your sister, it turns out you've been killing off the last of the humans who survived. This refers back to the events of Project Gestalt, where human souls were separated from their hosts till WCS was no longer an issue. Replicants were created. Replicants are vessels created from the data of a person's Gestalt or soul, and once the threat of WCS would have ended, the Gestalts would have returned to the Replicants and could have lived as true humans again. All of those Shades you've been killing this whole time are human souls. Due to loss of their sentience from not being connected to their actual bodies over time, the Shades, or human souls, became aggravated and attacked their hosts, trying to reunite. Now, as the main antagonist in the series, you single-handedly eradicate all of mankind. We can also jump back to the beginning of the game, where we see some of the last two complete humans on Earth in that snowstorm. That boy you play as in the beginning is not the same character you play as in the rest of the game. That is the Shadow Lord in his complete human self, and he doesn't kidnap your sister. He's trying to save his sister's soul and the rest of the human race. The choices you make as his replicant not just screws over all of the humans in your time, it also affects everyone who lives ahead of you and even alters part of the past. Now we jump into the future and land into Nier Automata, where you play as androids 2B and 9S, who work for an organization called Yorha. Yorha kinda sounds like Yona. Yorha's one mission is simple, to protect all of mankind, which in the story are said to be mostly safe on Earth's moon. In this game, the main enemy are machines, which are a race of sentient robots that were created by aliens thousands of years ago when they invaded Earth. It is the Yorha's androids' main purpose to destroy all of the machines and retake Earth for humanity. As 2B and 9S fulfill their mission to eradicate all of the machines on Earth, you witness many different events and begin to learn that what you thought you were fighting for was a lie. Major deja vu. After meeting the game's main antagonists Adam and Eve, machines who have evolved and become more advanced than the typical ones you run into throughout the game, you begin to learn more about what happened on Earth. It turns out that the aliens you thought were still in control of the machines were killed off years ago by the machines themselves, and they have been operating on their own this whole time. The cycle starts anew. You have a final meet with Adam and Eve, and you defeat the bad guy again and save the day. But guess what? Remember how Nier's Replicant in the previous game killed the Shadow Lord and wiped out all of humanity? Turns out that is still true, and humans have been extinct this whole time. When playing as 9S, you find this out when speaking to the Yorha commanding android, and throughout the game, there are documents and references to the events and characters of the previous game Nier Replicant. But are humans truly dead? I personally don't think that they are, but that their souls, which were once shades, have over time transferred into machine life forms for several reasons. The first reason is that over time the machines became more aware of themselves and eventually killed off the alien life forms who were attacking their home, Earth. As humans, they wanted to protect their planet. We also noticed that most of the machines attack androids on the spot who physically look identical to the replicants they were used to seeing back in the day. They probably think that those are their replicants and want to connect their souls with their bodies to become actual humans again. If you notice in the game as well, the machines have a lot of human-like tendencies. There are times where you run into machines that have created societies and organizations such as small religious groups who pray and fear God, machines who enjoy theater and the circus. There are some who herd local wildlife, and you even meet a non-hostile village and their machine leader Pascal, who defends all of the other machines as if they were his family. There are different scenarios where Pascal's fate has different outcomes, but the one that is most significant to prove that machines are human souls is a scene where Pascal's village commits suicide due to fear of dying and the idea of nothingness in a cruel world. If seeing machines hang themselves is not enough proof to show that they were human at some point, you can look at Pascal's resolve, where he has you erase his memory to help him forget all of his pain that he has seen by losing the ones he loves. That's right, he feels love, a human emotion. There are also other scenes throughout the game where you see other machines have very human-like interactions, and the fact that over time, the machines came together to create not just Adam and Eve, who seem like they have the objective to learn more about humanity and reconstruct it based on cutscenes of the game and a reference to one of the religious pinnacles of how mankind was created with just two people. Your final destination in the game, the tower, where you destroy the machines, is actually a reference to the Tower of Babel, a narrative in Genesis, which is an origin myth meant to explain why the world's peoples speak different languages. All these little details support the fact that shades, which are human souls, have found a way into machines in Nier Automata. Now, because of the decisions you made as a so-called protagonist in Nier Replicant, the androids 2B and 9S continue to kill off the human race in the forms of machines. No matter what time period you're in, your main objective in both games is to fully eradicate all of humans, and you are technically the villain in both game series.